Hello and welcome. You're watching India Today. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and joining me now is Somy Ali, actor, who's put up a post on social media that's got everyone talking on Lawrence Bishnoi. Somy, first of all, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. I know you're joining us from far, far away from Miami. So thank you for
Yes,
taking the time out. You've put out a
it's
very
an
curious
honor and a
post.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's you put out a very curious post, Somi, on Lawrence Bishnoi at a time when, of course, everyone's been talking about the threats he's been issuing to Salman Khan. Tell me why exactly you chose to put out this post.
Well, I think I'm going to give you two reasons. Number one is, first of all, my post was completely misconstrued. They thought I was being sarcastic, that they're doing Zoom calls in prison, and I was making a joke about it. But I wasn't.
Mhm.
I actually called my mom and I told her, Mom, do you know that they allow Zoom calls in India in prison? So I was realistically shocked that how, because I cannot fathom Zoom calls in America in prison for people who have murdered people. So that's one. And the second thing is that I found out that that interview was conducted in 2024 of February of 2024. And I also found out after thorough research, because I have a degree in journalism, such as yourself, also a psychologist. So I found out that this was conducted in 2024 in, I believe, February. And I
Mm.
saw and analyzed. So, in order, just a little tidbit, in order to graduate from your degree to become a psychologist, you have to work in a mental asylum for 6 months. And you have to deal with people who are criminally insane and who are paranoid schizophrenic, like Parveen Babi, who passed away, and people who have bipolar depression, so on and so forth. So I have training in that realm. So when I watched the interview, and also having worked with, let's say, FBI ke saath, police ke saath, with my NGO for the past 17 years, I have understood, and I can understand the psyche and the wiring of a human being, I'm very curious and very fascinated by human behavior, which is why I became a psychologist, and also which is why I wanted to be a journalist. But I wanted to
Mhm.
be a broadcast journalist. I like to do talk shows. I like to talk to people, and because looking in someone's eyes is, they say the windows are, you can the eyes are the windows to the
Sure.
soul. You can tell a lot by a person with their eyes. And I saw that this guy, now I'm giving you terrible examples. I would not want to sit with Hitler or Stalin, but someone like Lawrence Bishnoi, he committed a heinous crime, and I want to talk to him in person with media present there. When I come to India in November, towards the end of November, I'm taking 14 days vacation, and my favorite place in the world, I even said that in the post and I meant it. My favorite place in the world is Rajasthan, because they have preserved the infrastructure of they were palaces, and
Sure.
they've become like hotels now, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and a lot of people got married there. I think Elizabeth Hurley or Priyanka Chopra, I think, got married there. I think it's the place where people get married. And that's my favorite place in the world. So my vacation entails going to Mumbai, Shiv Sagar, Elko Market, Pani Puri, and all that stuff that I used to do when I was a kid, when I lived there. I was there from 1991 to 1999. That's a long time.
So you're
Um,
saying you're going to come, to India. You're going to be in Rajasthan. Are you doing this purely because you want to understand the psyche of Lawrence Bishnoi, or does this stem from concern for Salman Khan? What really made you take to social media and put out this message?
It stems from zero concern for Salman Khan. It stems from concern of murder of Salman Khan. Because I do not believe, I'm anti-death penalty and I'm anti-murder. Now, keep in mind, before we had DNA, which was discovered, a lot of innocent lives were lost in the United States of America. They were put to death and they happened to be innocent. When we discovered DNA, a lot of people were exonerated because they were innocent and they had not convicted the crimes. Similarly, now I am anti-death penalty and I'm as concerned about Salman being hurt as I'm concerned about the man walking down on the street or my neighbor. And I do not want to have a conversation. I do not care about Salman. I do not have any feelings for him. I don't want to reunite with him. I don't want any publicity from him, or I don't want his money. I have my own money, and I run my NGO for the past 17 years. The last time I talked to Salman was in 2012. I haven't spoken to him in years. The only thing I do not want is that anyone should be murdered. Whatever happened to Mr. Baba Siddiqui, I want to wish my deepest condolences, my heartiest condolences to his family, his son Zishan. I'm very sorry, and your family, your extended family, they're in my thoughts and my prayers, and I'm very sorry that happened. I don't know who Baba Siddiqui is, but I'm very sorry. The same way I would be sorry if anyone else were to be killed.
And so then why this particular case? You're saying that this has nothing to do with Salman Khan. You have
because I know for certain
why that particular case then?
Because I know for certain that, first of all, Lawrence Bishnoi is not an idiot. He's claiming himself, he's trying to be famous and getting his own TRP by claiming himself a gangster. He's an idiot. He should claim and get TRP by claiming himself to be a LLB. He's an actual lawyer. I found out through research. He's an actual lawyer. He's trying to get his own TRP by saying मैं gangster हूँ और मैं सबको मारता हूँ. He's an idiot. These are things you do when you're 17 and 20. You're 33 years old. Are you kidding me? Behave your age. And you have no right to kill people, because I can guarantee you, and I can give it to you in writing, that Salman did not know that the black buck was somewhat a deer that they worship, the Bishnoi tribe. I have been to hunting with Salman many times on outdoor shootings, and he stopped taking me. That particular 1998 shooting, he didn't take me because he said, you pray and you pray out loud on purpose so animals run away, and you start coughing when you don't really have a cough on purpose so animals can run away because I don't like hunting as a sport. Some people like hunting as a sport, which is fine. It's to each their own. I don't like hunting as a sport. So on that, Hum Sab Saath, I think Saath Saath Hai,
yes.
Film shooting, that outdoor, he said, I'm not taking you because you cough, and then we never end up catching any animals. So every time I go on hunting with him, in the past we never caught any animals. Strangely enough, the one time I didn't go, he ended up catching the animal. But I know this for a fact, that Salman is a very kind person. He has an NGO, and he did not know that the black buck was worshipped and deemed their god. Did
he ever say that to you? Is that something you spoke about what happened? You weren't there, you said, but did you have a conversation with him back then about it? Did he tell you this, that I didn't do
Absolutely.
that
When
much
he
for
came
your
back, and he said, listen, listen, there are thousands. Do you think Salman Khan is the only person that goes hunting in that area? Outside of Salman Khan, a gazillion people probably go there hunting in that area. But because Salman Khan is Salman Khan, they're after him. Now, Salman does not know, and he told me he does not know that that was something that was worshipped by the Bishnoi tribe. So the Bishnoi tribe needs to comprehend that. I apologized to Devender Bhai, who's the leader of the Bishnoi tribe. They did not accept my apology because they said Somy Ali did not shoot our god, and it was Salman. But what they don't understand is that Salman did not know. And I am a living, alive being witness of the fact that he told me. I had no idea. So it's absurdity. And on the outside of that, I don't want anyone murdered, whether it's Salman or God forbid if it's Sanjay Dutt or Jackie or Tabu or anyone. I don't want anyone murdered. Murder and
Of course.
violence begets violence. And violence and murder and death penalty is something I'm very against. For 17 years, I've been taking a stand against violence. And who have I been saving? All the girls and little boys that are brought from India to Miami, Florida to be sold into sex trafficking, human trafficking rings. And the girls are, you will not believe, they're as young as 5 years old, who are going to be sold for $1,000 to human trafficking rings. For 17
You've been doing a lot with your NGO to kind of stop that cycle of violence. In this particular case, do you tell us, Sobi, that you even apologized previously? They didn't accept your apology. If what you've said in your post about meeting with Lawrence Bishnoi, about speaking to him happens, if it happens, would you also be looking to apologize on behalf of Salman Khan to kind of end all of the cycle of threats that he's been getting from the Bishnoi gang, from the Lawrence Bishnoi gang?
I'm going to say this now. मैं सलमान खान की तरफ से मैं माफी मांगती हूँ देवेंद्र भाई, क्योंकि उनको नहीं पता था कि ये जो है आपका भगवान है, और मैं जब इंडिया आऊंगी मैं आपके मंदिर में आऊंगी और मैं वहां पूजा करूंगी, और उस मंदिर में जब मैं आऊंगी तो पूजा के साथ साथ मैं एक डोनेशन भी दूंगी आपके मंदिर को. There, all said and done. As far as Lawrence is concerned, I want to have a talk with him the way I talk to the victims that I rescue. I want to get into his psyche, because there's something I saw in that man's eyes, based on my training, that I want to understand. Because a guy who has a degree, a law degree, and is trying to be famous and get TRP as a gangster seems to be very, very unintellectual and very unintelligent. But in the same realm, the guy has a law degree, so it doesn't add up. I want to understand, why are you not promoting and getting TRPs as a lawyer? You should be promoting yourself as a lawyer. And second thing, stop this murder nonsense rubbish. Stop murdering people. You believe in God. You have your own God. Everyone has their own God. In the end, it's all the same, right? So, you know that Bishnois have 29 rules. Let's call them, it's called niyams in Hindi. And I know your Hindi is weak, so I'll tell you, it's called niyams in Hindi. And let's call them call them commandments. So they have 29 commandments in there, and I've kept this so I remember, because there's so much going on. Because every I've had 90,000 people on my WhatsApp saying that they're Lawrence Bishnoi and they want to have a Zoom call with me, or they want to have a chat on Instagram with me. So I like, it's ridiculous.
But
So
are any of those threats? Are there
I'm
any of
sorry?
those threats?
No, they're not threats. They're all saying, मैं Lawrence Bishnoi हूँ, मुझसे बात करो. मैं बात करने को तैयार हूँ. So I know it's all rubbish. Lawrence Bishnoi does not have an Instagram account in Gujarat jail. For the love of God, that is absolute rubbish. So anyway, in their 10th niyam, which is, let's say, commandments, they have 29 in total. In their 10th, it says that if forgiveness is something that they believe in significantly. So I appeal to Devinder Bhai, because he seems more logical than that gangster thug who's 33 years old and he's claiming to be a gangster, which makes him sound like an idiot, because if you have an LLB, why are you claiming to be a thug? You sound like a stupid fool. So I would like to approach Devinder Bhai and say कि आपके नियम में, आपके 10th नियम में लिखा हुआ है कि हम forgiveness में believe करते हैं. Now, I don't know how to say it. हम माफी देने में, forgive करने में believe करते हैं. Okay, my Hindi,
Yeah.
your Hindi is better. All right, I agree. Okay, you win. So anyway, so that's their one of their commandments or their rules, whatever you want to call them, like the Bible or whatever, the Quran or the Gita or the whatever the holy book, any holy book has. So if they have that as a rule, and it's the 10th one out of the 29 one that they have, then why not forgive? Now let's apply logic here. Will killing Salman bring back the black buck deer? No. Will the fact that he did not know and had no idea that the Bishnoi tribe worshipped the black buck deer, doesn't that in itself make it a complete moot? M-O-O-T, moot?
So one of the demands put forth is that Salman should publicly apologize to the community. You've apologized on his behalf, and there are many who've come out and said, don't target Salman in this manner. Do you think he should do that? Do you think he should kind of meet their demand and publicly apologize?
Salman, I know Salman very well. Look, people, they say that they know Salman very well, but only people who have dated Salman and lived with him and have, I always say that rooms and walls hold stories. And if only rooms and walls could talk, and then they would know the real individual. So if let's say Amitabh Bachchan or someone says, I know Salman very well, you may know him in a different facet. And I don't talk to my mother the way I talk to my father. I don't talk to my brother the way I talk to my friend, my best friend. We all wear different masks. When you are a couple, you're very intimate as a couple, and that too from 1991 to 1999. So, and if you've lived with a person for 3 years, which I have, who would know him better, Amitabh Bachchan or Somy Ali? Think about it. Of course, the girlfriend would know him better, because the girlfriend is spending day and night with the guy. She's accompanying him to his shootings, his outdoors. She lives with him. She lives with his parents. She lives with his siblings. At the time, the siblings were not married when I was in my teenage years, and I'm talking about early 90s. So Arbaz and Sohail were living in the house. Arpita was a little baby girl. I used to babysit her all the time, because they would go to the Panvel farmhouse and Arpita would stay back. She was about 6 or 7 years old, and I would babysit her when they would go to the Panvel farmhouse, and Salman would be busy shooting. So the point is that a person like this, who has no knowledge of the fact that this was something that was worshipped. I mean, what rubbish is this? This is not the thought process of someone who carries a law degree. I
Mhm.
mean, apply logic here, which is why I give more respect to Devinder Bhai than Lawrence, because Lawrence is portraying himself to be stupid and dumb and a gangster, whereas he's not. He's
But do you think,
educated.
and you've told us about how close you were to Salman Khan, so do you think he should apologize publicly
I don't think
to
he should
end it?
apologize. I do not. Why should he apologize for something he didn't know about? That's like me doing something inadvertently, unintentionally, and then being forced to apologize, or I will be murdered. It makes no sense. And it's not about ego. And people, people have this, they say this reputation about Salmani as he's very arrogant and he's very egotistical and all that stuff. I want to have nothing to do with Salman. I have nothing to do with his family. I never want to talk to Salman. The last time I talked to him was in 2012. I I'm only protective of the fact that I do not want him murdered the same way I don't want, let's say, Tabu, God forbid, Rabina, or anyone murdered. Any actor, whether it's in Hollywood or in Bollywood or in Mollywood, I don't want anyone murdered. I'm anti murder because violence is never the answer, and forgiveness is, and also judicial system. I believe in the judicial system very strongly, and there should be due process like in the United States of America, which we do with all the abusers that abuse the women in domestic violence cases, not human trafficking cases, but also human trafficking. The traffickers end up going to prison for years. But the point is, every person has a right to due process and an attorney. And how can you just make your own no man's land? What are we in the 1600s? We're in
Mhm.
2024. The guy's conducting Zoom calls from prison. I mean, are you kidding me? What the heck is going on? How did that even happen? How did Lawrence Bishnoi, a guy who's convicted of murder and is clearly saying that I've killed a singer, apparently some singer he murdered, had
Mhm.
murdered. I don't know who he is, some singer
Yeah,
in
his
Canada.
gang is involved in the killing of Sidhu Moosewala as well. So,
Yeah, and then now there's something, now it's become big. Recently, Justin Trudeau also got involved, and he made allegations against the Indian government for killing someone named, I believe his name is Vijar.
Richard, yes,
Vijar,
yeah,
someone named Vijar, I think, that was killed. And
yeah.
Justin Trudeau said that the Indian government I think it's called RNWA. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but it's getting very very big, and somehow everything leads to the Bishnois. And
Yeah.
I know that when I see Devinder Bhai and I see him shake hands with Prime Minister Modi, that there's a lot of respect in that man. And that's the man I would like to have a conversation with before I converse with someone like a gangster thug who's behaving like a 15, 17-year-old teenager
Mhm.
rather than a lawyer that he is. I would like to have a conversation with Devinder Bhai and give him
Okay.
the respect and have a conversation with him as an intellectual woman who's
Okay.
educated before I talk to Lawrence.
Okay.
And why
So,
should Salman apologize when he hasn't done anything wrong? Do you
okay.
think,
All right.
again, I reiterate, hundreds and thousands of people, that area, I believe that area is got to be about 80, 90 acres. This is a educated guess. I have no idea. Do you think that only Salman is going hunting there? I mean, think about it. Do you
No, you
think
raised an
no one
important
else
question.
has
I think it's
killed?
very pertinent to also talk about why Salman is being targeted in the manner he is. So, you've of course opened this up to a much wider conversation, which of course we will carry forward here on India Today as well. So, we thank you very much for joining
Thank
us
you.
here, taking the time out and
Thank you.
explaining to us what your post was all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.